Only 11 days till Canada. I can't believe it's coming, and I can't believe I'm saying this right now. It's surreal. I don't ever feel like it's gonna end. It's been the most beautiful, challenging, life-changing 5 months of my life. Well, 5 months and 4 days. Well, 5 months in 4 days. I'm not making sense, am I? Nor do I care anymore because, oh, I'm just so grateful.
I think we all changed from the wilderness. We were reborn, with new sadness and love for the life we had before. Now, believe it or not, it's hard to explain what walking for 5 months will do to a person. Tearing yourself from everything you are used to, deliberately planning your strategy, compiling your essentials into a backpack, and traveling into the unknown. It changes you, stripping all attachments to a settled life and trusting in the nomadic lifestyle. Call it whatever you want, nomad, gypsy, wanderer, vagabond. Or if you've never surrendered to the unknown, one must eventually learn that new places are exciting, full of new people, ideas, sights, tastes, experiences. Change is easy when your possessions are few. Out of necessity, you learn to open up to people and be more outgoing. You learn a lot about yourself and the world around you, all while removing your focus on the material aspects of life. Money and objects can be of value, but your life experiences are what carry you through to the next day. You become inspired by your own life, an incredible validation in itself. But with everything, there's balance, and Washington proved to show me this. With only 500 miles to Canada and 2,100 miles etched into the past, I was unaware of the beauty that lay ahead. Nonetheless, we were first to go over the Bridge of the Gods, a monumental moment in itself. As we placed one foot in front of the other, I could see all the way through the steel bars that kept the bridge together. It was jarring, being in this moment. The water from the Columbia Gorge gleamed far down below me as cars tucked their way, passing us slowly. People rolled down their windows, asking us quickly if we were PCT hikers, congratulating us, waving us off to our last state. Beaming with joy as I took my first steps into Washington soil, I felt overwhelmed looking forward at the ribbon of a trail leading us back into the wilderness. As always, my trail family dispersed as the day moved forward. I was amongst the Indian Heaven wilderness, a lake-filled land abounding with blackberries. The days pushed us around the skirt of Mount Adams and further into the magnificent Goat Rocks wilderness. From a night in town and back on trail, Mount Rainier loomed large. A halo of clouds rests over the peak, daunting us with grandness. Gazing in silent admiration, stood a mountain taller than any of those around it. With short and shallow breaths, I proceeded to climb over the fungal-covered forest and through to the proclaimed Goat Rocks wilderness. Snowbanks draped over craggy ridges and peaks as my trail family and I gathered under the sunlight of the exposed terrain. Ahead of us lie the infamous Knife's Edge. With steep drop-offs on both sides, many hikers hold their breath before traversing. Snow persists to grip both sides of the mountains at a distance, hiding in the concaves and divots from the sun. One foot in front of the other, my knees shaking, I climbed and climbed, moving as one does. As August fell into autumn, the huckleberries turned to cobalt blue with crimson leaves. The color stained my lips purple, giving away my indulgence over the bountiful spread of fruit. My fingers, equally dyed in pigment, matched the hues of the sky. It felt like my time here on trail was slipping beneath me. Yet, I felt a part of something big, gathering each night with new faces, all pushing to Canada before the snowfall. Wild, rugged, and stunning, the beaten path dances through the Glacier Peak wilderness, an area marked by heavily forested stream courses, steep-sided valleys, and rugged glacier-covered peaks. To match the landscape's immense beauty came immense challenge. The North Cascades offered many opposing experiences, climbing from one deep canyon to another high mountain pass, only to descend again into a deeper canyon and repeat onwards. This rugged terrain is the wettest along the route, lying in a storm track most of the year. Deep mud, fallen trees, and broken bridges make for quite a challenge in the section. Slipping with each step, I felt unbothered, grinning as I laughed at myself. Having been through so much already, patience was already in my back pocket. The final morning pulled gold light into my tent, matched with a lingering scent of morning dew and coniferous trees in the air. Sleepy as we were, elation floated through camp as we packed up for the last time. The sky bruised with gray and blue, inviting snow into the forecast. It was now time to go. Dawdling at camp, I turned to the path and departed. The next 14 miles floated under my feet. Around me was a brilliant display of reds, golds, and yellows as I raced through each switchback towards my final descent. The western larches crisped into gold needles, falling onto the trail, coating the ground with color. We were to gather a 1/10 of a mile before the northern terminus, as a family. Running through the woods, I stopped dead in my tracks, waiting for the rest to catch up. I grounded myself as the banter in the woods inched closer. Once my entire trail family had gathered, we assembled ourselves into a line and proceeded to finish together. Our steps tattered in the mud, beaming with eagerness. All of a sudden, in a moment of disbelief, unveiled the northern terminus. I stood with 1,000 emotions, reached out, and placed my hand on the wooden structure. That was it. I was done. No crowd waiting for us, no gold, no glitter, no award, but the reward of the journey in itself. We stood there speechless, quickly filling the silence with hugs and tears and laughter. How funny it felt to stand there in the middle of the woods, having dreamt about this moment for so long. I felt grateful, thinking of those who couldn't be here. I felt lucky to have had the cards in my favor. For what a privilege it is to suffer by choice, subjecting myself to the discomfort that comes with challenge, all in the pursuit of happiness, a choice as intentional as it was selfish. Selfish, not self-obsessed, just introspective. A choice to spend time with myself in celebration of my life. Why did I hike for so long? It was simple, for no one else but myself. Ultimately, I believe I become a better person from this experience. I faced myself every day and had to be with the person I am. The constant ego battle of pushing myself to my limit, walking 500 miles on a collapsed hip, contemplating my choices day after day, waking up in a blizzard at 4 a.m., crossing ice-cold rivers, cursing at the mountains in front of me. I lost a lot of who I was, and I found a lot of who I am. I learned what it means to surrender, and through the compassion I found for myself, I have become a better person. In the end, I found what I was always looking for: growth. Guys, that's the end of my PCT series. Thank you guys for watching, and I want to quickly summarize Washington. It was incredible. It was my favorite state along the entire trail, and getting to Washington was such a push. I really didn't think I was able to finish, that I would be able to finish, and we finished September 17th. That last week was just crap weather. Rain was coming down sideways. We were cold. We were eager just to, be able to talk to the people waiting for us at home because we hadn't had service for 3 weeks. But amongst all of that, the views were just spectacular. Everything was just beautiful, from going from the Mount Adams Wilderness through Mount Rainier National Park into the Glacier Peak Wilderness and finishing off at North Cascade National Park. It was incredible, and I just want to say that I'm so grateful that I was able to finish and have the opportunity and privilege to be able to hike the PCT. I was lucky. I was very lucky to be able to finish, and it is such a privilege to say that I was able to do this whole experience. And lastly, I just want to say, in remembrance of Finn, he was a wonderful hiker. I didn't get the chance to really get to know him, but he passed away while we were out there in Washington. Very tragic, and his girlfriend was with him, and my heart just goes out to them and their family. Finn died doing what he loved, and he will always be remembered by all of us hikers, those that were close to him and those that only knew him from passing, like myself. So that's all I gotta say about Washington. I have more videos coming for you guys soon. They're gonna be a little bit different because what I've been putting out are samples of my book that I'm writing, and this is basically stuff that I've written post-trail and in my journals. Yeah, So I'm going to stop rambling. You guys will hear from me very soon. Much love to you all. Happy trails. And see you guys in the next video. Bye.